I gotta read it because I know I'll miss all kinds of points. So, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Crystal Sanchez. I'm the president of Sacramento Homeless Union, SAC-SOUP, and the regional director for the National Union of the Homeless. I'm also a member of the People's Budget, and I wear a lot of hats in other groups. I am here today to express the importance of a community-based moral budget. We, as a community, bear the brunt of systemic problems, everything from racism, homelessness, to the giant potholes we drive over. But it seems as if year after year we pay more and more taxes. Our tax money is the budget, and we need to have a say-so in what is going on. Today, I am here to ask that $30.5 million, I repeat this, $30.5 million be deducted from Sacramento Police Department. This community is in need of so many things right now. In the wake of George Floyd's murder, the community cried out to have law enforcement removed from services such as homelessness and mental health, community issues, youth, and so much more. On June 10th, 2020, Chief Hahn made a comment that the police should not be dealing with homelessness or mental health when him and the other chiefs from across the state got together for a press conference. Our mayor of Sacramento, Darrell Steinberg, stated that we need to be looking at things through a racial lens. The solution was creating the community response team, which was removing policing from these areas. Now, if you have been to any of our city council meetings since June or July of 2020, when the program was implemented, anything and everything is being placed off onto the community response team. For instance, a few things: homelessness, the youth gang unit, 311, mental health, the motels and housing elements, and more. It is impractical for the community response to be ran on a small budget when there are so many factors playing into one department. And again, we should be decreasing the police because these tasks now have been assigned to the Department of Community Response, which again, the goal was to remove police from these areas. It is imperative that we reject any increases to the police department budget. In the last 2 years alone, we have had to pay out, with our, again, tax money budget, $7.6 million in lawsuits for harming and killing our community members. In the last 2 years, Sacramento Police Department staff grew by 60 people with a budget of over $4 million. This increase supported and expanded things like the Impact Team, which deals with homeless engagement, redeployment of the POP teams, and 911 dispatchers, all again now being diverted to the community response. We now have a department to deal with our community. We need to invest in that by increasing the funding for the Department of Community Response by $20 million, including $6.5 million for programmatic support to implement in the citywide homeless master plan. The current figure proposed by the city is only $3.5 million, yet the office, again, is being tasked to tackle all of the city's major pressing social and economic issues. Again, this is our tax money. Can't repeat that enough. We are asking that the budget invest $15 million in participatory budgeting versus the $1 million being proposed. Why? Because residents and impacted voices need to be part of the budgeting process. We are saying invest $20 million of our tax money into emergency housing assistance and rental assistance and housing and shelter. We need to prevent people from becoming homeless, and we need to help those off the street. We need to prioritize income-based housing and workforce housing and very, very low and no income. My thing just flipped over, so I guess. Housing like motels for emergency purposes. In the last 2 years, the homeless community has grown 50%, and we haven't been able to do a pit count yet. That is over 11,000 plus people on the streets of Sacramento. 700 of these are children. And according to the SAC-B article this week, 60,000 people cannot afford to live here anymore.
The rent is too damn high.
Thank you. During this pandemic, another element, our small businesses have been devastated and lost, especially those operated by people of color. If you've ever tried to navigate this system on any of the elements I'm talking about, it isn't possible. We want $1 million to fund an ombudsman to help our small business navigate this system. We want to fund public works, $10 million to expand the access and availability to public transit. More funding is needing to further progress on infrastructure. We want at least, and I repeat, at least $2 million infrastructure upgrades for public health needs, including encampment infrastructure, porta potties, sanitation, trash pickup, as long as people are outside due to lack of housing. Resources need to be available for the unhoused community and this community as a whole. We must invest in alternatives to 911, the mental health of our community as a whole. We have multiple other demands, and I'm sure that my comrades here will be going over those. If you have not taken the survey, I encourage you to jump on People's Budget, sac.com, click the link. Take the survey. Your voice and your ideas on how our tax dollars should be spent is vital. It's time to grab Sacramento by its bootstraps and invest in a community where we all can thrive and be proud of. Thank you.